Hey, Thought Tidbitters, welcome back. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something I think we all struggle with. Overthinking,
Hmm.
that nagging voice that just won't quit, especially when we're, like, trying to relax.
Oh, it's true.
Kind of ironic. We work so hard to get some me time, and then, bam, our brains decide to rehash every awkward conversation we've ever had.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's interesting is that overthinking, this tendency to do it, is like a leftover survival mechanism.
Oh,
Our
really?
ancestors, right. They had to constantly scan for threats.
To stay alive.
Exactly, to stay alive. But these days, those saber-toothed tigers are more like
Oh,
deadlines.
that's so true. Or like a to-do list.
Yeah, that growing to-do list.
I've always wondered, though, if our brains are kind of trying to help us with this overthinking thing. Why does it feel so bad?
Well, imagine your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, reasoning, all that, as a high-powered engine.
Okay.
Overthinking is like constantly revving that engine without giving it a break. It gets worse.
Yeah.
Your body responds by pumping out stress hormones,
Like cortisol.
like cortisol,
Wow.
which just adds fuel to the fire.
It's no wonder we feel drained after overthinking.
Yeah.
It's like a mental marathon with no finish line. But, okay, so if we know it's not helpful, why is it so hard to stop?
It's more than willpower, unfortunately. That constant churn, right, fueled by those stress hormones, can create physical changes in your brain. Over time, those neural pathways for overthinking, they get stronger.
Making it harder to break free.
Yeah, harder to break free. Like wearing a groove in a path, the more you walk it, the deeper it gets.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But it's a little scary. Like, we're training our brains to overthink.
Right.
But before we spiral into despair, I know our viewers want some solutions. So what can we do to quiet those racing thoughts? Find some peace.
There are some techniques, some really effective ones to interrupt the overthinking spirals. One of the simplest is what I call name it to tame it.
Name it to tame it. Okay, how does that work?
Okay. It's surprisingly straightforward. The moment you realize you're overthinking, acknowledge it. Just say to yourself, okay, I'm overthinking again.
We're calling out the thoughts almost like a mischievous child.
Precisely. And by naming it, you create a pause, a moment of awareness. You're stepping back from the thoughts instead of being swept away.
That's separation from the thought.
Yeah.
I can see how that'd be helpful. Are there other techniques we can use when we're in the midst of an overthinking spiral?
Absolutely. There's a great grounding technique, the 5-4-3-2-1 method. It brings your attention back to your senses and the present.
I've heard of that one. Could you walk us through it?
Sure, it's easy to remember. Find 5 things you can see around you. The color of the wall, the pattern on a rug, anything.
Engaging our sense of sight.
Yeah, bring ourselves back to the physical world.
Okay, what's next?
Then you move on to 4 things you can touch. Maybe the surface of your desk, the texture of your clothing, your own hair. Then tune into 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and finally, 1 thing you can taste.
A sensory countdown, bringing us fully into the present moment. What if you're in a situation where you can't engage all your senses, though? Like if you're stuck in a meeting.
Even if you can't do the whole thing, focusing on 1 or 2 can still help.
It's about shifting our attention.
Yeah, intentionally away from those mental loops.
Almost like giving our brains a different task to focus on.
Right.
This is brilliant. Okay, but what about when the overthinking is tied to a decision? It can feel like you're trapped in this loop of pros and cons.
Yes, decision paralysis. For those situations, I recommend the 2-minute rule.
2-minute rule.
Set a timer for 2 minutes and force yourself to make a decision within that time.
No more agonizing for days. Just 2 minutes. It seems too simple.
The point is to break free from the endless cycle of analysis. Often, we already know what we want to do deep down, but overthinking keeps us stuck.
So it's about trusting our intuition and taking action. That can be tough, though.
What about when the thoughts are about the past? Dwelling on mistakes. How do we escape that?
That's where self-forgiveness is so crucial. Overthinking the past usually means a lot of self-criticism, which just digs us deeper.
So how do we start forgiving ourselves, letting go of those past mistakes?
Recognizing that you did the best you could with the information you had at the time. It's about letting go of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Extending that kindness to ourselves like we would to a friend.
Exactly.
It's easy to forget that we deserve that same compassion. But what if we've moved past the overthinking moments and we're just trying to relax? Sometimes even that's a struggle.
You're absolutely right. True relaxation, it involves calming both your mind and body.
So we've addressed those quick fixes for overthinking, but what about when we need deeper relaxation? Sometimes telling myself to chill out doesn't work.
I hear you. That's where structured relaxation techniques can help. One that I often recommend is progressive muscle relaxation. Progressive muscle relaxation. Okay, that sounds a little intimidating. What does it involve?
It's simpler than it sounds, really. It's about tensing and releasing different muscle groups.
Like a mini workout, but we're releasing tension instead of building strength.
Exactly. As you release that tension, your mind calms down, too. Like you're teaching your body and mind to relax together.
That's fascinating.
I
So
know.
walk us through it. Where do we start?
You usually start with your toes, curl them up tight, hold the tension for a few seconds, and then slowly release. Then you move up to your feet, calves, thighs, and so on, up your whole body.
Interesting. I can see how that releases physical tension, but what about those of us who are more visual?
Visualization is powerful for relaxation. It's using your imagination to create a sense of calm and peace.
Like daydreaming with a purpose.
You could say that. Choose a peaceful scene or image and bring it to life in your mind.
What kind of scene?
Anything that brings you feelings of relaxation. A peaceful beach, a forest, a cozy cabin, whatever resonates with you.
Creating our own mental escape.
Exactly. Engage all your senses to make it vivid and immersive.
So I shouldn't just see the beach, but feel the sand, hear the waves, smell the salty air.
Yes, the more senses you engage, the more real it feels and the more effectively it transports you to that relaxed state.
What a fantastic technique. But what about those who find it hard to visualize on their own?
That's where guided meditations come in. They're basically recordings that guide you through a specific meditation or visualization. A soothing voice leads you, helping you focus and relax.
Like a personal meditation coach. I love that.
They're so helpful, especially for beginners.
I bet there are tons of different types.
Oh, absolutely. Guided meditations for stress, anxiety, sleep, compassion, you name it. You can find them everywhere. YouTube, apps, there are so many options.
It's a valuable resource. Guided meditations sound like a great way to ease into meditation and mindfulness.
I really recommend them. They make the benefits of meditation accessible without being overwhelming. But let's face it, in our busy lives, finding time to relax can be a challenge. How can we make relaxation part of our daily routine?
Yeah, it's not just about knowing the techniques, it's about actually doing them right.
Right.
So what does a good relaxation routine look like?
It can be as simple or as elaborate as you like, but focus on 3 key moments in your day: morning, midday, and evening.
Okay, let's break it down. How can we start our day with relaxation in mind?
Your morning routine sets the tone for the whole day. It's a chance to incorporate practices that promote calm and focus. We're not talking about hitting the snooze button 5 times and rushing out the door.
Definitely not. Even a few minutes can make a difference. What kind of practices are you talking about?
Journaling is a great one. Clear your mind, process any lingering thoughts from the day before. You can write about anything, your dreams, your goals, your worries, anything at all.
A brain dump on paper? I can see how that would help.
Hmm.
What other morning routines help?
Another one is setting a daily intention. A phrase or word representing how you want to feel or what you want to achieve that day.
Choosing how I want to approach the day, like setting a compass.
Exactly.
But what about those inevitable midday slumps? How can we relax in the middle of a busy day?
Midday breaks are crucial. Even 5 or 10 minutes to step away from work and do a quick relaxation practice.
But not social media or emails, right?
That's more mental stimulation. You need something that calms you down.
Mm-hmm.
Just take a few minutes to focus on your breath. You could do the 4-7-8 breathing technique or just notice your natural breath.
A few minutes of breathing can make a difference.
Absolutely. It calms your nervous system, shifts your focus away from stress.
I'll have to try that. Any other midday tips?
Get outside for a short walk. 5 minutes of fresh air and movement.
What if you can't get outside?
Stand up, stretch, anything to release tension and get your blood flowing.
Great ideas. I think we feel guilty about taking breaks, but they're so important. Okay, morning and midday are covered. Let's talk about winding down at night. How can we prepare for a good night's sleep?
Your evening routine is about creating a sense of calm, signaling to your body that it's time to sleep, more than just brushing your teeth and washing your face, right?
Right. It's a ritual that helps us unwind. What are the essentials of a good wind-down routine?
1, limit screen time an hour or 2 before bed.
I knew you were going to say that. It's so hard to resist scrolling or watching just one more episode.
I know, but that blue light suppresses melatonin. You're telling your brain to stay awake when you want to wind down.
Okay, screens are out. What else can we do?
Read a book, take a warm bath, listen to calming music, things that relax your mind and body.
Creating a soothing environment, engaging in relaxing activities.
Exactly. And a consistent sleep schedule. Same bedtime and wake-up time every day, even weekends, helps regulate your sleep cycle. Makes it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed.
It all makes sense. Most of us underestimate the importance of a good evening routine. But what about people who feel like overthinking is just part of who they are? Is there hope for chronic overthinkers?
Absolutely. Overthinking might feel like a fixed trait, but it's a pattern of thinking that can be changed. Shift your perspective. See overthinking as a sign of your intelligence and problem-solving abilities.
Overthinking a good thing, really?
It can be. Think about it. Deep analysis, careful planning, attention to detail, these are assets in fields like research, writing, problem-solving.
So maybe it's not about eliminating it, but learning to harness it, directing that energy.
Exactly. Overthinking isn't the problem, it's how we manage it. It's like a powerful engine. You don't want to run it at full speed all the time, but you don't want to get rid of it. You learn when to use it and when to let it rest.
I love that. So how can overthinkers reframe their thinking and embrace their strengths?
Notice the positive outcomes of your overthinking. Did your planning help you avoid a problem? Did your analysis lead to a solution?
Focusing on the benefits.
Right. Another strategy is mindfulness. Become aware of your thoughts without judgment. Observe them as they come and go.
Instead of getting caught up in the content, we just acknowledge their presence.
Exactly. This creates distance between you and your thoughts, reducing their power.
Stepping back and observing our own minds. Powerful.
It is. Practice mindfulness, and it gets easier to choose which thoughts to engage with and which to let go of. You become more discerning, more selective.
It makes sense. But even with all these techniques, overthinking can be tough to break. What would you say to someone who feels discouraged, like they're always battling negative thoughts?
Change takes time and practice. Be patient. Celebrate the small victories. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Therapy, coaching, a supportive friend, it makes a difference.
Being kind to ourselves, acknowledging that we're all works in progress, reaching out for support.
Absolutely. Focus on self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend.
Offering ourselves a gentle, supportive presence instead of beating ourselves up.
Exactly. Self-compassion can be so healing. It helps us let go of those harsh self-judgments and creates space for growth and change.
This has been insightful. We've covered so much. Understanding overthinking, calming our minds and bodies, self-compassion, digital detox, daily routines, breath work, visualization, guided meditation. But before we move on, any final advice for viewers struggling with overthinking and trying to relax?
One of my favorite mantras is this: I am not my thoughts. I can choose peace in this moment.
Beautiful. We have more control than we realize.
Exactly. You have the power to choose peace, even in the chaos.
It's empowering. We'll be back after a quick break to explore more strategies for managing overthinking and creating a more relaxed and fulfilling life.
It's so true. We often forget that we can choose how we respond to our thoughts. We don't have to get swept away by every worry.
Yeah, it's like we have this inner control panel, but we forgot how to use it.
Exactly. With the right tools, though, we can reclaim that power and create more peace.
I love that. Empowering ourselves to be masters of our minds, not victims of our thoughts. But let's be real. Sometimes it feels like overthinking has moved in and won't leave.
I understand. And for some people, it's more than just an occasional annoyance. It can really impact their life.
So how do we know when it's crossed the line from normal to something more serious? What are the warning signs?
That's a good question. One red flag is if it's always interfering with your sleep, your relationships, your ability to function.
So not just feeling stressed, it's about the impact.
Exactly. Another sign is spending too much time dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, to the point where you can't enjoy the present.
Like your mind's stuck in a time loop, replaying mistakes or catastrophizing.
Precisely. And if it comes with physical symptoms, headaches, muscle tension, fatigue, digestive issues, that's another sign.
It's not just mental then. It's affecting our bodies too.
Absolutely. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or unable to manage it on your own, don't hesitate to reach out for help.
It's a sign of strength to seek support, not weakness.
Couldn't agree more. No shame in asking for help. It's often the most courageous thing you can do. It's interesting. We've been talking about overthinking negatively, but I've heard it can be a strength.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I have to admit, I never thought of it that way. How can overthinking be good?
Think about the qualities. Deep analysis, careful planning, attention to detail. These can be amazing in fields like research, writing, problem solving.
So instead of trying to eliminate it, Maybe it's about harnessing it, using that mental energy productively.
Exactly. Overthinking isn't the problem. It's how we manage it. Like a powerful engine, you don't run at full speed constantly, but you don't get rid of it. You learn when to use it and when to let it rest.
Great analogy. So how do we reframe our thinking and embrace those strengths?
Start noticing the positive outcomes. Did your planning help you avoid a problem? Did your analysis lead to a solution?
Focusing on the good.
Right. Also practice mindfulness. Become aware of your thoughts without judgment. Observe them come and go like clouds.
We acknowledge their presence instead of getting caught up in the content.
Precisely. It creates distance, reduces their power over you.
Becoming the observer of our own minds. That's a powerful idea.
It is.
This has been so insightful. We've covered so much today. Understanding overthinking, calming techniques, self-compassion, digital detox routines, breath work, visualization, guided meditation. But before we wrap up, any final advice for viewers on this journey of taming overthinking and finding more peace?
Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that holds them. And within that awareness, there is always the possibility for peace. Joy connection. It's always available right now.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insights today.
It's been my pleasure, and I encourage your viewers to keep exploring these practices. Keep experimenting. Find what works. Remember, this journey is ongoing. There's always more to learn.
And to our amazing Thought Tidbitters, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into overthinking and relaxation. We hope you found it helpful and insightful if you did.
Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more insightful content, and share it with anyone who could benefit from a little less overthinking and a lot more peace.
Remember, you have the power to choose peace, one breath, one thought, one moment at a time. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep those overthinking monsters at bay. Our thoughts really do shape everything, don't they? It's easy to get stuck in our heads, especially these days.
It's true, with so much information and stimulation coming at us all the time. But, like we've been talking about, there are things we can do, tools and techniques to help us slow down, find some peace, take back control.
And the best part is anyone can use them. You know, we don't need any special equipment or training or anything like that.
Exactly. Taking a few minutes to breathe, trying a guided meditation, or putting the phone down for a while. Simple but effective ways to feel calmer.
It's not about, emptying our minds completely, right?
No, not at all.
It's about changing how we see our thoughts. Noticing them without judgment, choosing which ones to focus on.
You got it. It's about being kinder to ourselves, more mindful, recognizing that we all overthink sometimes, and that we can find peace and balance.
This has been so inspiring, honestly. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to deal with overthinking and make more room for relaxation in my life.
That's great to hear. And remember, it's a journey. It takes time. There will be times when you slip back into old habits, and that's okay.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Just notice it, be kind to yourself, and bring your attention back to the present moment.
Such good advice. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure. I want to leave your viewers with one last thought. Remember that you're not alone on this journey. There are so many resources out there. Books, apps, online groups, therapists, coaches. Don't be afraid to reach out, connect with others, and embrace the power you have to create a more peaceful and fulfilling life.
And to our amazing Thought Tidbitters, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into overthinking and relaxation. We hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more, and share with anyone who might need a little less stress and a little more peace.
Remember, you have the power to choose peace. One breath, one thought, one moment at a time.
Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep those overthinking monsters at bay.